Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening to Church Without Walls in the beautiful studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We certainly invite you to join in to the show today. And we hope that we always be praying and hoping that we can say something or do something that would make your lifestyle and your life come just a little bit better. We might say something that'll bring you a little closer to God. Also, let you understand the wall that's standing your way in your community. We hope to say something that would help you. My name is Charles Stewart. The co-host is Dr. Anthony Williams. And we certainly enjoy coming to your home every Monday morning. It's a beautiful day outside, a wonderful day. It was a little cool this morning, but outside is so beautiful. It make you think about the song that they sang in the church, I know now when I was a little boy. This is the day the Lord have made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And every day that God lets you wake up, that you can smell, touch, and see, it is a beautiful day. I always tell my friend and loved one that it's always a great day when God lets you wake up. It could be a great sunshiny day, and it could be a rainy day, a cold day. Whatever day it is, it's a beautiful day. When God lets you be able to move around and meet and hug your loved one and see them. So we want to say to everyone, we hope that you had a beautiful time. Yesterday in church night, when I say a beautiful time, I'm hoping that you love your brothers and sisters way that God love you. And I say that, my brothers and sisters, because we need to love one another. I always say, and Pastor always say every Sunday morning that it's been 168 hours since we been with each other and fellowship with one another. And in that 168 hours, there's 10,000 minutes, and it's over 64,000 seconds that we have fellowship and talk to one another. So we always happy and excited to be coming to your home every Monday morning. Church Without Walls. We are designed to knock down the walls that stand in your way. Whatever the wall is, we believe that it's nothing too big or too small for God to handle. That's why I said we're going to knock down the walls. We are Church Without Walls. Remember, you are the church. And the wall is standing out that way. You go to your church house on Sunday, but remember that you are the church. Want to make a few announcements. Coming up at, I think next Sunday, at True Vine Baptist Church, 320 Courthouse Lane, that's in Hornville, Louisiana. Our co-host, the one and only Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams, will be speaking out there. This coming Sunday, I think the time is around 11 o'clock. 11:30. For those who live in that area, you certainly want to be there. And many of y'all may have seen Reverend Williams on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And hear his voice. Now you can meet him in person. Come out and meet him this coming Sunday in Hornville, Louisiana. And also want to say that Dr. Williams going to be preaching, I think, at one of our other local churches coming up, and I guess he's going to be announcing that. But anyway, just want to do a shout-out to True Vine Baptist Church out in Hornville, Louisiana. And the address there is 320 Courthouse Lane. So you should be there Sunday and meet Reverend Williams. We want to do a shout out to all our listening audience, Miss Watson, Sheila, all y'all, Dr. D. Dunn. I always want to do a shout out to her. She is so sweet and nice. She always a part of us. And also to all our listening audience. I understand met a gentleman, Home Depot, and he was saying, man, I listened to the show, and certainly I was happy to that he acknowledged that he listened. So we want to do a special thank to all our listening audience. And Dr. William, you like to have more comment before we get into the topic?
No. Shout out to everybody. Y'all know who you are. Those that know me. To all of the members of Little Zion, all of the members of Bethesda House of Prayer, where I serve as the executive pastor and associate minister at Little Zion Baptist Church. We're looking forward to meeting you. Hope that you can come out to some of the services that we'll be ministering at, and hope that we'll be able to have a word for you that when you leave the church, you'll have something to bring back to your location, something to say to the people that I heard this at a church where Reverend Williams was preaching. Hopefully we'll be able to illuminate your mind. I hear a lot of people say sometimes, God gave me a new revelation. God doesn't give you a new revelation. It's his revelation. You get an illumination from his revelation. That is the living word. And the word illuminates in your mind to give you a living representation of God's word. So with that, back into Charles.
I always say that you hear these announcements. If you participate in them, it would benefit you and your quality of life. Our topic today going to be the black community need to come together and make a change, and it's urgent. Repeat that again. The black community need to come together, and it's urgent that we do so. Now, why would you say that, Charles? When we look at what's going on in our country right now, we somewhat, in my mind, and I invite any caller to call in and challenge me and question me on this, why, and ask me why I believe this. And by the way, the area code is 504-341-8255. 341-8255. And we have a caller on the phone already. So it's a caller on line 1.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Williams. What's going on, Doc?
Everything, Doc. Everything.
Hey,
and
how
nothing.
you doing, Mr. Charles?
All right, Doc.
How y'all fellas doing on this lovely Monday morning?
A beautiful day. What a great day to be alive, he said.
Great, man. I just want to let everybody know about the New Orleans Talk Network experience. We are Choice for Alternative News, and I just had to chime in on your conversation this morning you was having with the black community. Me, myself, as a young black man born in 1981, campaigning with my uncle, Donald Jones. He was a councilman in this area, so I grew up engaged in the political process. But I see a lot of the youth that's right up under us. They could care less about what's happening with the political process. They are not, and they are so far away from understanding what it takes to be a responsible citizen in a political process. To where I'm just at a loss of words for where our youth is when it comes to this voting and being involved in the community, especially where we live at down here on the West Bank and Marrero and all the surrounding areas around this area. I just really look forward to us trying to get our children and our youth engaged in the political process, because it seems like the only thing they're interested in is the presidential elections.
You so right, call up because when what I believe that our young youth, the Bible tell us a lot. That's a blueprint. That the Bible said people perish because of the lack of knowledge, and I think that we. And when I said we, Dr. William, also yourself, Terrence, all of us, we have a responsibility to try to educate our young people. And that's why God put on my heart this morning this topic to deal with. We need to make a change because we've been doing the same thing, for year after year, and we're getting the same results. I mean, all we do election time, the one that do go vote, and I always tell people that the Democratic Party know how the African American voters, 95% of they know how we gonna vote. The question is getting us to go vote, and that's why they get parties, do second line, and that's the way they get us to the poll. But if we ever could be independent and go out and educate our young kids, and I would ask pastors, and I hope the pastors don't get offended. But I wish that they would take 5 minutes and tell the young people how important it is to be a registered voter. How important it is to vote. You should be proud that they want to be a voter or terrorist because people died for you to have their rights.
Well, you know something, Charles?
I was currently speaking with some of the youth in our community. These young men, they're phenomenal. They smart. You listen to them talk and you ask them questions about how they feel about things, and they give you an honest answer. I think the young black men in the community are very honest on how they feel, and most of them attitudes are very nonchalant. They tell you straight up, man, I don't care about none of that. What that's gonna do for me, that thing got nothing to do with how that's supposed to help me. You go vote for these people, they don't do nothing for you. So that's the stereotype in our community, and they really believe that. So when it comes to these candidates, they know that the young black men in the community and young black women just as well don't really care about who the elected officials are. So they just rely on the votes of their parents, Democratic votes, stuff like that. So it's predictable when it comes to the political season in the black community, how the blacks are going to vote. So, I mean, if I was a politician, I wouldn't too much engage with it or spend a lot of money with it either because I'm just going against the grain with trying to get a lot of people to come out and vote for me in a certain type of community. But that's where it falls back on the community. And you're absolutely right, Mr. Charles. They don't have any dog in the fight when it comes to the black community going out and vote. As long as they got hot dogs and they're out there second line and they're throwing little parties, you could get their vote. And that's just is well documented what candidates need to do in the black community in order to get their votes.
Well, Terry, basically, Charles said he hopes some pastors don't get offended with him. I'm going to go one step further with that. I hope they do get offended with what he said. And the reason I say that is because maybe it might touch them to understand that you've got young men and young women in the church who need to hold a responsibility of saying to themselves, and the pastors, and not just the pastors, senators, everybody else who's looking at young folks and how they're always being caught up in prison and whatnot, need to try and instill something in them so that they can say, this person that I put in office, he's not doing anything for the community or for the people. So we need to get somebody in there that needs to do something. It's time that we teach our kids to stop putting beepers on their belt and taking the book sacks off of their shoulders and finding and educating themselves or getting someone to educate them on what's going on in our community, who's doing something for us, who's not doing anything for us, and then we can get some participant to go to the poll. Just throwing a party, because somebody throw a party for you and give you some hot dog and cold drink, and you can get out there and second line and enjoy. There's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. But then you got to stop and think about what's happening after the party is over.
Yeah,
exactly.
What have I got?
Nothing.
What did I receive?
And I honestly feel that that's been my passion. as far as, how I felt towards the church. The black church needs to be under attack because when I was growing up as a kid, that was a safe haven for us, the church. We learned a lot of values in the church. The church is the community. In the black community, you got dozens of churches. I grew up in Avondale, Kennedy Heights. We got 6 or 7 churches in that one community right there. But I never seen not one church get out there and actively campaign. And I recently discovered that a lot of these churches are organizations, nonprofit organizations, and due to their nonprofit status, that they can't get involved in the political process. I'm not sure how true that may be because I didn't research that information. But if it is true, then we need a lot of churches to come together and get with our local Congress to get that change. Because in the black community, that's where we go for a safe haven. That's where we go. We bring our children to church faithfully so they can learn how to worship God. But inside the church, we need to start bringing politics inside of the church so they can learn how to be productive citizens as well as worshiping God. And I blame all of the churches as collectively. I blame every single church in our area for not doing this and not getting ahead of it, because when they took politics out of our church, they killed the community in so many ways. All they say was, y'all go praise and worship, y'all go give y'all money, but don't worry about politics. And that's where we take our kids from the day they are born till they become young adults. We wake them up on Sunday mornings and we make them go to church. That's where they learn a lot of values at. So if we can get politics back in the church and we get our kids involved in politics at a very early age, when they become young adults, they will understand the logistics of politics. They would know how to talk politics, and they would know exactly what's going on when someone comes into office, and they will understand what needs to happen in order for them to get what they want. Someone may not know how politics works, and all they need to hear is one thing, and they are turned off. But if you understood the logistics of politics, then you will have a better understanding of what it takes to get things done. And this is something we need to teach our children, just like we want them to praise at a very young age and teaching them how to worship God at a very young age. We need to kill 2 birds in one stone and teach them politics and Christ at the very same time. And I can almost guarantee you we will see a change in our community.
Charles, could I let me say this to you? You said earlier that politics is not involved in the church because some pastors believe that they participate in political any kind of way, be acting in the political arena, that they may lose what that is, 501c3 or whatever that is there.
501c3.
Yeah, they may lose that tactic, but the Angelica and a lot of Southern Baptists supported Trump. I mean, they were on television every week telling people don't vote for Hillary. I mean, come on, man. I mean, what happened to us here? People control us by what we hear and what they put in front of. What I mean about that is that, okay, you take like the New Orleans Talk Network, okay, like this is independent, like we pretty much can say anything that we want to say, as long as, it's proper language. I mean, I say anything, I don't mean, using a bad word and all that, but we can speak our mind now. If we come up for a listening audience and the people hear us, we're going to be different because Dr. William, myself, we're going to tell the people the truth, what they want to hear and not. And that's take like a pastor in the church. Say I pastor church, say the name of my church is, say Church Without Wall. We're not a church, but anyway, I use that as a scenario. And someone said, well, Brother Charles said, I would like for you and Dr. William and endorse as candidate. It's very easy for Dr. William or myself to tell the audience, look, I'm not telling y'all who to vote for, but I'm telling y'all why I'm voting for this person. And let me tell y'all his qualifications. So if I'm telling you, Terry, this is a good man, he graduated from LSU, he went to Harvard, he did this in the community, he fed the poor, he believed in people, but I'm not telling y'all how to vote, but this is why I'm voting for this person. I mean, you condition your people to believe what you want to believe. And this is what killed the black community, like you say, is those young people. And my belief is the reason why they don't participate in politics. They don't see nothing benefit them. They don't see nothing that we doing with. All they see that we get elected officials, we fight. We have to fight for the black community. We have to fight for anything we get. It's a fight. I mean, fight after fight. We fight to get somebody black in there. Once you get somebody black in there, what do we go from there? We don't have a plan.
Well,
How it's going to
Charles,
benefit us?
Mr.
I mean,
Charles.
and this is what I was saying, that the black community, the urging that we come together and start the plan. And you know the most disturbing thing that I heard over the weekend when a couple of people told me that they one of the candidate that running for, I'm not gonna call the name, but one of the candidates that running for sheriff in Jefferson Parish, and they were bragging about how he can second line. I said, "What you mean? Oh man, he can get on, man. He gonna get all the black. Well, man." It blowed me up, man. It messed up a few hours of my day. I said, well, did he say anything about what he gonna do in the black community? I mean, this is our problem. We too much damn sucker lining. We need to get in a line and come together, like you said, and talk to our young people.
Well, I'm gonna make this last point, and I'm gonna hang up and finish listening to the show. Again, if we taught our youth the logistics of politics, we won't fall for that okie doke anymore. And the political candidates out there will understand that we will not be falling for that okie doke. And me myself personally, I don't care if a candidate is white, black, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. Right. If they want to address the economic failures we have in our community, not only the black community, we have a strong presence of a Hispanic community now here in Jefferson Parish. If whatever a candidate is getting out there and putting together a good plan to address the economic failures we have in our community, I'm for. And right. We want to hold that candidate to the fire on those issues that we have in our community. So I'm dealing with the agenda of a candidate, not the race of a candidate. And whoever understands and listens to our problems in our communities is our candidate. I don't care if you can two-step in the middle of a club, or you could drink somebody under the table, or you got a mouthpiece, you can sell life to a dead man. It doesn't matter if you don't want to address problems in our community. And that is the candidate for our community. I don't care what kind of educational background you have. If you can address those issues in our community, then you are our candidate. And that's what we need to teach our youth. Listen for what someone is telling you. Listen for how they're going to be addressing the issues in your community, and learn the issues in your community at a young age. And right. This is going to change the landscape of politics in our community.
Well, you know, Brother Terry, if you stop and think about it, people get up in the morning, spend about an hour and a half getting dressed to go to church, and spend anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours in church. So you're supposed to be giving your people knowledge. And if you don't, they say my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Yeah. Now, when we look at the other entity of people who of different nationalities, what they do is they take their people to church, but then when does the election campaign start? It doesn't start the day of election where you're trying to figure out who you want to go vote for. Right. It starts prior to that, where you actually educate them on what a particular candidate have done and is doing for you and for your people. Mm-hmm. And we have not taken the initiative to create an educational program to get them to understand why they should go and vote. So the young generation feel, why should I go and vote when I don't even know what I'm voting for? I'm voting just for a person because somebody say they're a good candidate. But if that individual have knowledge of what that person is actually doing in the community, then they can go and make an educated, use the education with the hand.
And I'm going to just make this last comment because I got to go, guys. For all, and I hope, and if they're not listening, I hope somebody passes this message on here at the New Orleans Talk Network. I see a lot of pastors online, giving sermons, giving praise, and I don't even click on their streams because I know it's a bunch of BS, and I know your timeline is probably helping someone get through the day, and I respect that. But for all the popular pastors in our community, just shut up. Point blank, shut up, because praise is one thing, but if people are looking to you for leadership, leadership comes in different forms, fashions. It's not just a bunch of praise at the end of the day. You want us to come to your church and give our donations, and you don't want to help us get out of the economic woes we are in, then I have a problem with that that particular church. And there's a bunch of them around here just like that. So I don't praise these people. I don't put them on pedestals. I don't look at them as they're some kind of savior, man of God. I think they're a huge problem in our community because they know how to say the right things to get you all riled up, but they're not telling you nothing at the end of the day. They're just reading from a book and giving you their opinion, and I think that they really need to step up to the plate. If they don't want to step up to the plate and get involved in the political realm, then we don't need you in our communities anymore because you're part of the problem. That's my comment. I know you guys got to handle some more other stuff. I'll be listening for the rest of the show. Thank you for letting me talk.
Okay, thank you so much, that caller. Very inspiring what you say, and I hope our listening audience take that and listen to that and pray over and think. When you hear something, pray over and think over and say, just because we said something, do a little research on what we're saying. Think about it. But anyway, we got to go for a break. We've been talking here, and we got to pay some bills now, so we got to take a station break. Remember, you like to get in on the conversation? 504-341-8255. You're listening to Church Without Walls on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Join in on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry. There are no limitations or boundaries. We talk about life, and guess what? That includes you. So download the app today, New Orleans Talk Network, and subscribe on YouTube. That's every Monday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network, Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Jill Samuels with Faith That Works. Join us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network as we change the lives of people with the Word of God by equipping the body of Christ to evangelize the world while reconciling people back to God. Let us continue to carry the water to the desert because Jesus is the living water.
Stop this hauling water to the sea.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams.
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
And I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan.
Don't you dare miss it. We are back. You are listening to the New Orleans Talk Network. We are Church Without Walls. your host, Charles Stewart, and Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams. We come your way every Monday morning, and we invite you to call us, 504-341-8255. If you love your community, and if you believe in God, God give all of us a duty to go out and reach out to those that may be lost and to share our knowledge. Your reason for going to the church house on Sunday is to go there and gain knowledge. And you should share it with someone. When we go into the church house on Sunday morning, God wants us to praise Him. You know, we sing, we talk, we make testimony. We praising God then. But the pastor give us a message, and that message is for us. When we praise, do the praise, singing and dancing, we are praising God. But when you listen to the message from the preacher, you getting the message for you that you can go out and share it with the people, your neighbor, your friend, whoever. And we invite you to share that with us. 504-341-8255. We on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, so you can check us out in many ways. So we are talking today about the black community need to make a change. And I would like to go back to earlier, the caller was talking about the pastor and politics in the church. And I don't think many of our pastors understand what politics is. Politics is many of things that govern us, because number one, when you come into this world and the doctor spank you on your butt and you cry and they give you a name, that's politics. And many pastors will tell you, I don't fool with politics, I don't like politics in the church, but unless you found that church and you started that church on your own, you avoided politics. But if you pastored the church and you was elected by the members of that church, that was politics there. You know? Mm-hmm. And I can't figure out how you said not politics. And a lot of times I'm wondering, because most of your pastors is well-educated men and women, very educated. But for whatever reason, we twist certain things around when we say we don't get involved in politics. But if you got elected to the church and they voted you in, that's politics. And I always hear a preacher that says the same way they vote you in, they can vote you out if they want to. That's politics. So we got to understand, and you people might want to say, well, Charles, why would you specialize the black community? Because I see that we the only race of people that seem to be complaining and dragged behind. Ever since I can remember, we complain about racism, but I don't, for some reason, I don't see the Vietnamese, the Chinese, who that is, Mexican. I don't see none of them complaining about racism. It's only the black community, and that tells us that it's something we done wrong. It's time for us to make a change.
Well,
Dr. Williams.
We've got to get to a point whereas, we've been programmed to believe that the white man's water is wetter, his sugar is sweeter. But we've got to get to a point where we realize that that's not true. And then also, when we talk about politics in the church, you have to first of all realize that there are more than one part to the church. There's the physical part of the church and there's the spiritual part of the church. When we talk about the spiritual part of the church, we're talking about the organism of the church. When we talk about the physical part of the church, we're talking about the management of the church. So management would come under the physical part of the church. Talking about bringing people to Christ would come under the spiritual organism of the church. And when you start looking at those two, you can say that we've taken politics out of the church. Politics will be in the church as long as the organization part of the church exists. The organization part of the church is how you manage the church. You have people right now, pastors who are in churches right now, who didn't get in there because of the knowledge or the spiritual aspect of their life, but they got in there because of friendship and kinship. And then when they get in there, they start doing what they want to do, and then the people in there, the congregation, seem not to be able to find a way to get them out of there. You got pastors who lie from the pulpit. You got pastors who are doing everything that's ungodly on the pulpit, but they got in there because of politics. When you start looking at a pastor for a church, you want to look at the spiritual organism or the spiritual knowledge that he has, so that he can teach the people the righteousness of God. But you also want to look at the fact that he has the wisdom and the knowledge to pass on to people regarding what they will go through in this life. So you can't just minister to the spiritual part of the person. You've got to minister to the physical part of the person. So when you minister to the whole man, as Brother Charles said, then you're giving them wisdom and knowledge to go through life. So it had always been told us to take politics out of the church. So if you take politics out of a church, then you've got to take it out as a whole. You can't take part of it out and leave part of it in.
Yeah.
You got to minister to the whole body of man. And the biggest problem I think that we have is we don't minister to our youth. They know if they can go, you got kids right now who can dissect a gram of Coke.
Yeah.
And tell you what it's worth, how much it's going to cost, divided, multiplied, and give you a percentage of it. Okay, if they can obtain that kind of knowledge in the street, they should be able to obtain more knowledge in the church.
That's
and,
so
and
true.
you want to deal with the we watched our kids take their book sacks off of their back and put beepers on their belt and form an organization in the street. If a young person can form an organization in the street and how to sell dope and how to get people to work for him, then he can do the same thing with his life and accomplish what he needs to accomplish in life. Until we take that chain and stop having one link pull against the other until the chain break, we're always going to have the problem that we have in the church. People come to church to get information, to get wisdom, to get knowledge, to get understanding, not just about God, but what's pertaining to my life.
Right.
So individuals, as individuals, we've got to learn how to meet the need of the people in the church. And until you start meeting the needs of the people in the church, we're going to always have problems. We're going to have problems with our kids. We're going to have problems with women. We're going to have problems with men. Because until the men stand up,
Right.
the average woman will follow a real man. And we've got all kind of problems that's existing right now. You got men who saying that a woman shouldn't be in the church as a pastor. Well, the reason that they want to be pastor, and this is just my personal opinion, is because the men are not standing up to where they're supposed to stand. That they're out of order.
Right.
So you got to bring some order back to the church. When Jesus created this world, he said, "Let there be light." Research it, you'll find out what he was actually saying was, let there be order. There's an order to things. And we're not, the church is not in order. Most of God's church is out of order right now because men are using everything as a gimmick. Plant a seed.
Right.
That's one thing you hear that runs across the TV and everything else. You need to plant a seed. The seed you need to be planting is the word of God. The seed you need to be planted is the righteousness of God. Plant those seeds. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all else will be added. So are the pastors, I need to ask you the question today, are the pastors doing this?
Right.
Are the pastors submissive to the word of God? Or are the pastors making themselves, as the priest did a long time ago, somebody who was just over and receive and not returning? You've got pastors who want to make you pay tithes, but they don't pay tithes.
Right.
Charles asked you a question a long time ago. Are you just going to church for the pastor to give you a blessing plan, but the only person that's getting blessed is the pastor?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that every pastor is doing that. I'm not saying that.
You're talking about the one that do.
I'm talking about the one that do it.
Right.
So the pastor need to be working more with the congregation to try and find out what the need is, what I need to be doing right now. How can I educate my people? How can my people be educated? You got people that only comes around when it's voting time. Well, that's no time for you to be trying to figure out what have they done, what are they doing for my community, what are they giving me, what kind of promises can they make me. I remember when I was a chairman of a deacon board, we went down to the parish, and there were other guys in there who were saying, well, what can you do for me? And that was the biggest concern. But there was one deacon who was, he was the chairman of the deacon board, and he was training me at the time. And I was amazed at the question he asked. He said, well, Doc, he said, I need to ask you a question. And the senator said, what is it? He said, I need to know what you can do to help at least 6 people in my community. He didn't ask anything for himself. He said, well, Doc, what you want? He said, if you can help those 6 people, I'll be satisfied. And you have shown me that you're working with action. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, you have helped me to help people in my community. The pastors have to get to a point where they start realizing the church will always be there to support the pastors, but the pastors are not supporting the church. If you got somebody in your church that's not working, look around, see if somebody has a business, somebody who can hire them, somebody who can help them to get their life back straight. I guarantee you one thing: if you help those people, they ain't going nowhere. They're gonna stay there with you. They're gonna be there with you forever and a day.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right, Reverend William. And Reverend William, you know what? The way I see this is that this been going on for far too long, and I got engaged in the politics back in the '80s, and to me, I seen it's hopeless, but. And if you would, like I never forget, a pastor said something in the church one time, and you never know when somebody says something that would have an impact on your life. And he said something was real simple. Mm-hmm. He said that 100% of nothing is nothing. Mm-hmm. But 50% of something is something, even 30% or 20% is something. So only thing that we telling the listening audience today is we absolutely get nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, we get a couple of jobs in the government office. They let us appoint somebody, over some program, over government program. But that's peanuts, and the sad part about it is we have so much to offer. We done did so much. Think about it, Reverend William. The government and like we put party labels, said Democrat, Republican, all that. I'm saying all of them, Democrat and Republican. Mm-hmm. The 1% of the Democrat and the 1% of Republicans, they control our life and what we do. They absolutely do, and we can't see that. And I'm gonna tell y'all, we're gonna take another break, and we're gonna take a 30-second break. And when we come back, I'm gonna tell you why that they control everything, and we can't see it, and we the fool. Mm-hmm. We'll be right back. We're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
We are back. You are listening to Church Without Walls on the New Orleans Talk Network. Charles Stewart and Dr. Anthony Williams are your hosts. We come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12. We certainly enjoy coming to y'all every Monday morning. So we hope that you will give us a call and let us know how you feel about any topic that we talk about. And we, Dr. William and myself, we believe that we provide the topic and you provide the conversation. So get in on it. This is your station. You can let your voice be heard. I know many other stations you call you. They got a topic. If they don't like what you say, they cut you off. But here we listen to everyone. And before we went to a break, we were talking about Dr. Williams about how we know, in my opinion, we be prostituted. You know, like I would say in most races, especially in a parish like Jefferson Parish, we nominate who the black community side with. That's who wins. But yet and still, what do we have that they show for it? I mean, and like I say, the Republican Party they be labeled as the party to the right, the Democratic Party to the left. But the bottom line is that where is the black community? Okay, like how do we fit in? And I was saying that 1% of the country, I think back in the old days, they said 8% of the country. Now I think it's down to 1%. They control the rest. They got the poor white and the poor black. So they keep us, Dr. Williams, fighting against each other. And we fight, we saying racism. They don't want to give us no food stamps. I think about this here. Okay, they say like the Democrat want to kill babies. I mean, they come up with different things that get people's attention. Republicans said they against lady having abortions, and that's murder. But yet and still, think about this, Dr. Williams. They fight to bring a young kid into this world. A woman can have abortion, so you must have your child. But at the same time, I'm with them on that. I'm with them on that. But at the same time, what I can understand is once the child get here, then they cut every federal program that would feed them. So that you want to bring somebody in the world, but you're going to starve them to death. You don't want to see them eat. I mean, I don't get that. And then you have the Democrat. They say they for the poor man, but yet and still, what are they pouring out? Doc, I don't see nothing really, either party, Democrat or the Republican. I don't see nothing that they really do for us. I mean, we just been conditioned to fail. That's why I said we got to make a change.
Well, Charles, when you look at the fact that, let's take the news media for example. The news media is out there to sell papers, to get their status up, to get their rating up or whatnot, and they only put out what going on in the community. A lot of stuff that we have, like you take the NFL and all of that, they plagued that over the air. They kept that on the air. Something else is going on within the world that they don't want us to see.
You're right.
Until that bill is passed. There may be a bill. This morning they come up with the fact of this guy have turned himself into the FBI because of some conflict with Russia. They ain't telling the whole story. They sent a sealed letter, and with all of the charges that's being brought up against him. So that was something that they wanted to keep out of the news. Mm-hmm. So now they don't have any choice because it's leaked out. When it leaks out, then you've got to address it. So they're going to find a way to address it. Then they come back with the fact that Trump, this happened before Trump. So they're saying that it happened with somewhere between the reign of Obama. So pretty soon, that's the next thing they're going to come up with. And we've got to be mindful that we allow people to make us slave and keep us in slavery. Some time ago, there was a statement made. It says, well, we got to take the chains off of their feet. We got to take the chains off of their hand. And the comment was made, if we take the chains off of their feet, they're going to run. If we take the chains off of their hand, they're going to want to fight us back. But we got to keep them in control. We got to remain their master. So what are we going to do? Where are we going to put the chains? And somebody said, put it on their mind. Yeah. If we chain their mind, we can keep them in slavery. Right. We as a people have always been on a downward drive. And until we realize that we need to get educated on what's going on in our community, educated on what's going on with our families, educated on what's going on in our school. Right now, they've just about condemned every black school in Louisiana. They're putting them out. So they're coming up with a new kind of school. Yeah. So they're always going to change something to try and make things better. We have to look at what's happening to us. And once we can address what's happening to us in a economical way, because if you look at the fact that they're always telling us they want to what's the word I'm searching for? Okay, we've come to. Well, I'm gonna give it back over to Charles. We'll take it up at another time.
Okay, we're gonna continue this show at another date. Our time has been spent, but remember, Dr. William gonna be preaching at True Mind Baptist Church at 320 Courthouse Lane in Hornville, Louisiana. He'll be there at 11:30 this coming Sunday. Don't you miss that. And also coming up in December, Church Without Wall will be having an annual fundraiser. We're going to do oldie but goodies. We're going back to the Cotton Club Entertainment. And you can come out and entertain. If you got some old clothes that you've been saving in the closet for 20 years ago, that old dress, that bow ribbon, put it on. December the 9th at 7:30, 7603 West Bank Expressway, oldie but goodie. This is a fundraiser for Church Without Wall. We love you, we love you, we love you, and thank y'all for listening. We're always saying there's no such thing as being half dead. If you're dead, you're dead. We love you. Have a blessed weekend.